Dear students, in last classes we have found electric field intensity due to an electric dipole at an axial and equatorial point. Now we will find electric field intensity at any point due to an electric dipole. Right? Electric field at any point due to an electric dipole. Due to an electric dipole. Consider an electric dipole. Consider an electric dipole consisting of 2 point charges minus q and plus q separated by a small distance 2l, having dipole moment p, which is given by what? P equal to q into 2l. Magnitude of either charge and separation between two charges. Let the central point of the dipole is O. It is desired to find electric field intensity at any point, say P dash, at any point P dash from the center of the dipole. Okay, you see, it is desired to find electric field intensity at any point P dash. This point is neither axial nor equatorial. It is the any point at which we are interested to find electric field intensity due to this dipole. Okay, so you see, suppose the position vector of P dash is what? R. Position vector of P dash is R. Let R vector makes an angle theta with electric dipole moment vector. Okay? You see, P dash is the point at which electric field is to be determined. The position vector of P dash with respect to O is R. All the P dash is at a distance R from O. And theta be the angle between R and P. Okay? Now, resolving dipole moment P into two rectangular components, we get. Now resolving dipole moment P into two rectangular components, we get what? P cos theta and P sin theta. You see, you resolve, you see this is P. So the P cos theta component will be along the direction of R vector. So this will be your P cos theta. Not that. And perpendicular to it, that means perpendicular to P cos theta, another component will be which is your P sin theta. Not that. This is your P vector. This is your P vector. So vectorially resolving the P vector into two mutually perpendicular components, that is rectangular components, we get P cos theta along R vector and P sin theta perpendicular to R vector. Okay? P sin theta perpendicular to R vector. Okay? That means P cos theta parallel to R vector and P sin theta perpendicular to R vector. Now you see that the point P dash is the axial point for P cos theta. P dash is along the direction of P cos theta. So we can say P dash is the axial point for dipole moment P cos theta. That means this dipole can be resolved into two dipoles also, having dipole moment P cos theta and dipole moment P sin theta. No doubt it is a single electric dipole having dipole moment P. Once we have resolved means this dipole is divided into two dipoles of dipole moment P cos theta and dipole moment P sin theta. And P dash point is the axial point for P cos theta, and same P dash point is the equatorial point for P sin theta. The point P dash is the axial point for P cos theta and equatorial point for P sin theta. So due to P cos theta, if we assume a dipole of dipole moment P cos theta, then P dash is the axial point. So due to P cos theta, we will get an electric field. Let it be E1. Let it be E1. Let it be E1. Because for axial point, the resultant electric field is always parallel to dipole moment. So if P cos theta is the dipole moment, and due to P cos theta, we are interested to find electric field at P dash, and the given field is E1, then E1 must be parallel to P cos theta. Not that. You should understand that fact that this is a single dipole, but once resolving the dipole moment P into two component means we are getting two dipoles of dipole moment P cos theta and P sin theta. For an electric dipole of P cos theta, P dash point is the axial point and the electric field is E1. So E1 must be parallel to P cos theta. And what about for P sin theta? What about for P sin theta? For P sin theta, for a dipole, assume a dipole of dipole moment P sin theta. For that dipole, the electric field will be, let E2, but E2 will be what? Anti-parallel to dipole moment. You remember? In last two classes, we have read the resultant electric field at an equatorial point due to a dipole is anti-parallel to dipole moment, and for an axial point is parallel to dipole moment. Not that. Here we are using the previous two formula. Not that. So that means here. So E2 is the electric field due to P sin theta. Let E1 and E2 E1 is the what? Electric field. E1 is the electric field due to an assumed dipole, not that. Due to an assumed dipole of dipole moment P cos theta at P dash. Electric field due to P cos theta at P dash, not that. E2 electric field due to P sin theta at the same point P dash, and let E is the resultant electric field at P dash due to the dipole. Okay, due to the dipole. You see, if it is E1 and E2, so the resultant will be anywhere. Okay, let it be. Let it be. Clear? Suppose the resultant electric field makes an angle beta or alpha with E1. Not that. Then what about the value of E1 and E2? You tell me. What about the value of E1 and E2? You tell me. What is E1? E1 is the electric field at axial point due to an assumed dipole of dipole moment P cos theta. So it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2P cos theta by RQ. You see, you remember the previous formula. Electric field due to an electric dipole of dipole moment P at an axial point E is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2P by RQ. But here, in place of P, we should replace P cos theta. P1 is 2P cos theta and E2 is how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P sin theta by RQ. Not there. Then what will the magnitude of resultant electric field? What will the magnitude of resultant electric field? E is equivalent to E1 square root over of E1 square and E2 square. Not that. So you see 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2P cos theta by RQ square plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P sin theta by RQ square whole root of. Okay. You see, you take P by 4 pi epsilon naught RQ out of root of. Here P is there, RQ is there, 4 pi epsilon naught is there. The common factor you should take out of root of. So it will be within the root over, it is the square function. Outside the root over, it will be P by 4 pi epsilon naught RQ. Taking these things out of root over, you put root over. 2 cos theta square of 2 cos theta is 4 cos square theta plus sin square theta. Not that. It should be what? P by 4 pi epsilon naught RQ whole square 2 cos square cos theta whole square of 2 cos theta. So 4 cos square theta, here sin square theta. So you see P by 4 pi epsilon naught RQ. You split for cos square theta as 3 cos square theta plus cos square theta plus sin square theta. not that. So you see sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So what you are getting, magnitude of resultant electric field is P by 4 pi epsilon naught R cube root over of 1 plus 3 cos square. This is the magnitude of resultant electric field at any point due to an electric type. No doubt in this derivation we have used the previous two formula. We have used the previous two formula. Not right. Then what about the direction? About the direction of what about the direction of resultant electric field? You divide E1 and E2, or you take tan beta. What is tan beta? Tan beta is E2 by E1. E2 by E1. What is E2? P sin theta. P sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught R cube divided by 2p cos theta, 2p cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. Not that. So it will be what? Sin theta by cos theta, half tan theta. So tan beta is half tan theta. You see, from this general formula, you can also found electric field due to this dipole at an axial point as well as equatorial point. You see, if you will find electric field at any point here, it will be the axial point. If we will find electric field due to this dipole anywhere on this line, it will be the equatorial point. So for axial point theta will be 0. For equatorial point theta will be 90. So from this expression we can also find electric field intensity at axial point as well as equatorial point. At axial point theta equal to 0 degree. So what you are getting, resultant electric field E equal to what? You see, cos square theta, cos square 0 is 1, 1 plus 3 is 4, root over of 4 is 2. So we are getting 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by R cube. Again, at equatorial point, theta is 90 degree. So cos square 90 is 0. So this factor is cancelled. So it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught p by R cube. So this is the electric field intensity at any point due to an electric dipole. Clear? Then we will discuss about another thing, that is electric lines of force or electric field lines. Electric lines of force or the electric field lines. Electric lines of force or the electric field lines. You see, the electric field or any field, the electric field, the gravitational field, the magnetic field are not visible to anybody else. Electric field is not visible, it is only realizable. Electric field due to a charge or due to a dipole is not visible to the human being. So in order to analyze the electric field, not quantitatively, qualitatively, in order to analyze electric field qualitatively, a geometrical method is used. So this electric lines of force or electric field lines is a geometrical interpretation of electric field, or it is a geometrical method to analyze the direction as well as the strength of electric field. Since electric field is not visible, it is only realizable. So this is a geometrical method. It is a pictorial geometrical method to analyze electric field and analyze electric field in both respect, its direction as well as magnitude. Okay. So you first write the definition: electric lines of force or electric field lines. A line of force, is an imaginary path. A line of force or field line is an imaginary path. Straight or curve. Straight or curve. A line of force is an imaginary path, straight or curve. The tangent to which at a point okay, a line of force is an imaginary path. It may be straight or curved. The tangent to which at a point will give the direction of electric field. Okay, a line of force is an imaginary path, straight or curved, the tangent to which at a point will give the direction of electric field. You see, a line of force is an imaginary path, straight or curved. It may be straight or curved, and tangent drawn on that curved path or straight line path will give the direction of electric field. That means, suppose this is a line of force. Suppose you are interested to find the direction of electric field here. Then how can you find? You put a tangent here. This will give the direction of electric field. Suppose this is a curved line of force. You are interested to find the direction of electric field at this point. So you have to put a tangent on that point. The tangent drawn will give the direction of electric field at that point. Without going into mathematical calculation, easily you can get the direction of magnitude of direction of electric field. Not that. Suppose you are interested to find electric field here. Suppose this is a point P1, so this will be E1. Suppose you are interested to find the direction of electric field here. then you have to put another tangent here. This will give electric field, direction of electric field at that point. Do you follow me or not? So these are the concept. And also you can find the magnitude also. I will discuss it in property. If in a region more number of electric field lines are there, if in a region there are more number of electric field lines are there, then we can say that electric field strength will be more at that point, at that region. If in a region there are more number of electric field lines are there. So this is a region where there are more number of electric field lines in comparison to another region. This is a region where more number of electric field lines are there, here lesser number of electric field lines are there. Here electric field will be more stronger than that region. So by counting the number of electric field lines, we can analyze the strength of electric field. Okay? So this is your definition of what? This is the definition of electric lines of force. In next class we will discuss about the properties of electric lines of force or electric field lines.